This is teaching standard 2, promoting pupil progress. So here is a lesson plan of a volley and dig session that I did. It was the 5th lesson out of 7 for this particular class, so I knew how able they were in both skills. Starting with the warm-up, it was very sport specific and got the students thinking about what type of shots they might be using in this lesson and what type of shots they have already been using throughout the 4 weeks they've had prior to this. To start off with, students were paired up and asked to set their own targets. This meant that they could make them either easy or hard for themselves, but I asked them to make sure that it was something that they was capable of getting. Having the 2 stations, so having the volley station and the dig station, allowed progress in both skills. So if they weren't confident in one of the shots, they maybe had to progress more in the other one, which gave them enough time to focus on their own ability. This is also very individually focused, which meant that students were progressing at different rates. However, they were both performing the same skill side by side, but they might be at different stages during the skill. Moving on to consolidation, there was comparison against the pairs of the students, which were paired up into similar ability students and students that weren't going to mess around. The comparison between those was a little bit of competition to see where they got out between themselves. They also spoke about how they compared to what they put down and where they actually got to, which showed progress against themselves and how well they know they complete the technique of each skill. There were demonstrations given by a range of different students at different stages to show where students were and how they progressed throughout. Looking at the reflection, even if students didn't quite manage where they wanted to get to in terms of technique and progression throughout, they still progressed by being able to explain what they were doing and demonstrate correct technique. Moving on to the different stages. So the dig and the volley had 10 different stages, each one progressively harder. This meant that students were able to progress at different stages and be able to challenge themselves. Looking at some feedback, said that it got progressively harder so the students can challenge themselves against their own ability. They were able to recap against prior knowledge and progress throughout the skill and correct technique that they might still be struggling with. Moving on to more progression next week, they'll be performing into a game situation as quickly as possible because they've learnt the skills now and they should be able to take them into a game situation. Also, Yorlan and Norwich 2012 reflect on this and show that it's easy to promote pupil progress in a mainstream school with mainstream students all from the same background. So I thought, looking towards my second placement, it may not be this easy, and it may include pupils with SEN or disabilities and may have to plan for progress slightly differently. They also show that a lot of teachers have a good principle about including pupil progress for all students. However, this isn't always put into practice.